And I mean, it is currently considered a buy candidate. And the prediction is for it to go up by almost 9% over the next 3 months.
Wow.
And even the predicted opening price for April 2nd is higher than where it closed on April 1st.
So it sounds like the market is anticipating a rebound.
Yeah, it definitely seems like there's some optimism there.
Yeah, and I think that optimism is driven by, what I mentioned earlier, which is the potential long-term impact of those really encouraging trial results.
Right, because, if relacorilant actually gets, filed with the FDA and the European Medicines Agency, which it looks like it probably will because the data is so good.
Yeah.
That would open up a huge market.
Absolutely. And, the fact that they've shown a benefit in this really hard-to-treat patient population,
Yeah.
It suggests that there's a real need for this drug.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, the market recognizes that.
So the bigger picture here really seems to be one of potential long-term recovery and growth for this company.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
And, it makes you think about how long does it actually take for a drug like this to get approved? And how long does it take for it to actually get adopted and used and, for the company to really see the financial benefits of all of this?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Drug development is a long and complicated process.
Yeah.
So even though we have these positive results from the phase 3 trial, there's still a lot of work to be done.
Right.
The regulatory review process can be lengthy. And then even once a drug is approved, it takes time for it to be adopted into clinical practice.
Right.
So it's important to keep that in mind, when you're looking at the long-term prospects for a company like Corcept.
Okay, so let's move on to our third company, which is ICCT, iCorConnect.
Right.
Now, this is an interesting one.
Okay.
So the stock price went up by 110%.
Wow.
On April 1st alone. It went from $2.37 up to $4.72.
That's huge.
It is. That's a massive jump.
Yeah.
And if we zoom out and we look at it over the last 2 weeks, it's actually up by almost 800%.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, that kind of movement, it really demands attention.
It does. And, the first thing that jumps out at me when we see that kind of move is where's it trading?
Right.
So this one's trading on the P-Inc market.
Right.
Which is an over-the-counter marketplace, and it has less stringent listing requirements than the major exchanges.
Right.
Like the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ.
Right.
And what that means is that
the
stocks that trade on the peak market tend to be much more volatile.
Oh, okay.
So, big price swings like this are actually more common in this segment of the market.
And, to add to that picture of volatility,
Yeah.
when you look at the 52-week range for ICCT,
Yeah.
it's gone from as low as 11.6